Hello again, folks. Welcome back to the channel, and thank you so much for subscribing. Now, it's that time of the year again, isn't it? The Notting Hill Carnival, Europe's biggest street party where London's vibrant diversity comes together to celebrate, well, apparently the fine art of stabbing, robbing, and generally turning a posh neighbourhood into a crime scene from a dystopian movie. Scotland Yard's just confirmed 140 arrests on the first day alone. 140 in one day, and that's before the bank holiday Monday, when the real fun kicks off. Makes you wonder what the final tally will be, doesn't it? A couple of hundred, 1,000, who knows? Maybe they'll run out of handcuffs before the samba stops. So let's talk numbers, shall we? Last year, 2024, the Carnival gave us 2 murders, 8 stabbings, 3 of them life-threatening, 349 arrests, 72 for weapons, 1 for a firearm, 13 for sexual offences, and 61 assaults on police officers. That's not a carnival. That's a crime wave with a steel drum soundtrack, isn't it? Over the past 5 years, we're looking at an average of 11 stabbings a year, 308 arrests, and enough knives and guns seized to arm a small militia. And yet here we are, 2025, and the show goes on. Why? Why hasn't the UK government pulled the plug on this annual chaos fest? Oh, and I think we all know why, don't we? But nobody wants to say it, do they? It's the elephant in the room wearing a feathered headdress and dancing to calypso. If this was any other event, say a football match or a rock festival, with this level of violence, it would be banned faster than you can say public safety. Imagine Glastonbury with machete fights and 61 coppers getting punched. They'd shut it down before you could say a vegan food truck, wouldn't they? But Notting Hill Carnival, untouchable, sacred, a celebration of Caribbean culture, they call it. Well, I'm sorry, but when your celebration involves fatalities, felonies, and a body count, maybe it's time to rethink the party favours. The Met Police are out there, 7,000 strong, bracing for what the papers call Carnival Carnage. They've already nabbed 100 people before the event even started, seized 11 firearms, 40 knives, and banned hundreds more from showing up. And still, Sadiq Khan's wringing his hands about crowd crush like it's the biggest worry. Dude, it's not the crowds crushing people. It's the knives, it's the guns, it's the fists, and there's people who can't simply control themselves. But don't worry, they've got facial recognition cameras and screening arches to catch the bad guys, because nothing says cultural celebration like turning Notting Hill into a high-security prison for the weekend. Now, don't get me wrong, I'm sure the vast majority of people at the carnival just want to dance, eat jerk chicken and go home with happy memories. Commander Chairman Brenier said as much. The vast majority come to have fun, fair enough, but it's the minority, the ones turning up with machetes and bad intentions, who are the problem. And it's not a small minority either, is it? 2 murders last year, 8 stabbings, 349 arrests. That's not a few bad apples, that's a whole rotten orchard. And yet the government, the mayor, the police, they all tiptoe around it like they're scared of saying the wrong thing. Why? Because nobody wants to be the one to point out the obvious. Nobody wants to be called that word, do they? You know the one. It's the magic word that shuts down any discussion about crime culture and common sense. So here's a thought. If the carnival's such a vital part of London's cultural calendar, why are locals boarding up their homes and fleeing for the weekend? Why are businesses shutting down like it's a zombie apocalypse? I'll tell you why, because they know what's coming. They've seen the stats. They've read about Chair Maximen stabbed in front of her daughter last year. They've heard about Musi Imentu, another life lost. They know Notting Hill Carnival isn't just a party. It's a gamble with their safety, and they're not stupid enough to stick around for the dice roll. The organisers are crying out for government funding now, saying the event's at risk without urgent support. A leaked letter to Culture Secretary Lisa Nandy begs for cash to improve stewarding and crowd management. Fair play, they've got a point, I guess, but 2 million people in a few streets is a logistical nightmare. And here's the thing, they're not asking for money to stop the stabbings or the robberies. They're asking for money to keep the whole thing going. More stewards, more barriers, more police. In other words, more sticking plasters on a wound that's been bleeding for years. Meanwhile, a retired Scotland Yard detective, Mike Neville, is out there saying what everyone's thinking. If this was any other event, it would be banned. And he's right, isn't he? If this was a football match, they'd have cancelled it years ago, but Notting Hill Carnival gets a free pass. Why? I'll let you fill in the blanks. And look, I'm not here to rain on anyone's parade, well, maybe a little, but when your parade comes with a body count, maybe it's time to ask if it's worth it. The Carnival's been going since the 1960s, I think, a celebration of Caribbean culture born out of the Windrush generation. But somewhere along the line, it's turned into something else, hasn't it? A magnet for trouble, a headache for the police, and a nightmare for anyone who just wants to live in peace. The government could step in and say, enough's enough, could move it to Hyde Park or ticket it or, God forbid, cancel it if the violence doesn't stop, but they won't because they're terrified of the backlash, terrified of being called names, terrified of admitting what's staring them in the face. So here we are, another year, another carnival, another round of arrests, stabbings and chaos. And when it's all over, they'll sweep up the broken glass, patch up the wounded, and tell us how wonderful it was, won't they? How vibrant, how diverse, how iconic. Until next year when we do it all again, because in Britain, we'd rather dodge knives than dodge difficult conversations, and that, my friends, is the real crime. And there we go. What do you reckon? Is that the truth, or is that the truth? Let me know in the comments. I'm Baz49. Thanks for watching, and until the next time, Roger Trout.